to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Lock Shop. We're at Capilano Boston Pizza today. We'll be here for the oil stream as well. If you're in the area, I'd love to have you swing by for lunch today. I'll buy you a drink here at lunchtime if you want to swing by. And hey, how about this? $15. Lunch is ready in less than 20 minutes. Pop in, pop out. Have something absolutely delicious. Get those all-meat Thai chicken bites. Yummy. That's good. Or you can just swing on by and get a classic Blue Moon. That's what I'm having here right now. And it works out well because it's also the right there, the Blue Moon coaster as well. This is nice. I haven't had a beer in a little while. I know people joke at that, but I haven't. And I look forward to this one. This was one of my favorite. Cheers to all you lock shoppers. Hashtag justice for the lock shop, eh? Should we do that? Anyway, Capilano Boston Pizza will be here for the next couple hours. I'd love to have you pop on by, grab some lunch. And yeah, I mean, $15 ready in 20 minutes or less. You're going to love it. I'm going to have lunch here today as well. I'm trying to figure out exactly what to get, but I'm looking forward to doing it. That is for sure. If you are watching the Lock Shop today, hammer the thumbs up for us over on YouTube. Feel free to chime in the chat. If you're listening on TuneIn Radio or iHeartRadio or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please tell your friends how easy it is to just stream everything we're doing here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Phenomenal lineup every single day. Myself and Tommy on the oil stream after that win for the Oilers last night. We will get into that. Then we'll have EST afternoons. By the way, shout out. If I could const these guys right now, I would. But a shout out to EST afternoons for hitting the screw it, let's do it parlay yesterday. That was over 4-1. The EST early bird bet hit as well. That was at plus 350. So we had a pretty good day yesterday if you're riding with the Lock Shop and our title sponsor over at Play Alberta. Download the Play Alberta app today. Make sure you use our codes this month. We'll have new codes for you next month, or these same codes will end up being reloaded. But make sure you use them. You don't want them to go to waste. It's pretty simple. Just go to playalberta.ca or download the app. EST 50, deposit 50, get a $50 free bet. EST Sports, deposit 50, get a $50 free bet on that one as well. Chat seems to be a pretty happy place today, so that is good to see. VR Montenegro says, hey, thanks to the double overtime, so SGA could cash us over. Hey, it doesn't matter how they get it done, right? That's the thing. As long as it gets done, it feels even better when you get to cash something in that overtime period, don't you? I think you absolutely you have to love that. So that's nice as well. And yeah, you can fire us a text if you want to chime in on the text line. CFL individual team awards have been announced. Maybe we'll dive into that a little bit. We haven't even looked at the CFL board yet. So far, I see Garrett from Winnipeg is in talking about all the different combinations that we could still see on the CFL playoff picture. So maybe Huss and I will dive into that as we work our way through the day as well. I believe it is a lighter sked in the National Hockey League tonight. The early bird bet that I already threw up, it's a little crazy, just because it's basketball, right? There's no Jays. It's a light night in the National Hockey League. No Oilers game. We don't have the Thursday nighter yet because it's Wednesday. So I did go to the association tonight. First overall pick, Cooper Flagg, 17 plus points, plus 105. Slight boost on that one. And we'll see. Going up against the Spurs tonight. Should be a highly entertaining basketball game. I maybe dabble in that one myself a little bit. But very much looking forward to that one as well. And hey, you can pop over to Play Alberta anytime. The odds boosts, the daily specials, they're always sitting there. They got a ton of odds boosts for a bunch of different sports all the time. We've got some CFL odds boosts in there. There's a bunch of UFC odds boosts. There's some stuff for the World Series game coming up later in the week as well. I'm seeing some NHL odds boosts. So they've got a ton of stuff going on over there as well. Take some time, if you have some time and you want to take some time, dive into that odds boost section and see where you can find some good value on a few of those. I got a guy hounding me in my Big Boy Fantasy League right now. He's 7-0. This guy's off to a great start. He's 7-0. One of his quarterbacks is on bye this week. Goff and Lawrence are both on bye this week. He still has another quarterback, but he offered me Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter for Patrick Mahomes. And I was like, what are we doing here? I'm sorry. There's already been one schedule. I'm going to tell you about this trade in this league. This is a big boy league. This is my biggest stakes league. I still don't like the fact that this trade went down. Tell me this. Tell me if this trade seems sketchy to you. Now, this trade happened a couple of weeks ago. but it was Lamar Jackson and George Kittle for Travis Kelce, Michael Penix, and Jerry Jeudy. Like, that, something seems off about that one. I think that one's kind of a sketchy deal. Penix, Kelce, and Jeudy for Kittle and Lamar Jackson. I mean, nothing against Penix. I know Atlanta's won some games, but Lamar Jackson's going to be back healthy here and should be. I don't know. I didn't like that deal in that league. Anyway, so I'm not trading Patrick Mahomes for Trevor Lawrence. I've got Jackson Dart, Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes. It's a super flex league. I'm pretty strong in the quarterback position. I could use some help both at running back and receiver. So I'd be willing to probably trade Jackson Dart. Could even maybe listen to some Jaden Daniels offers with how banged up he's already been this year. But I'm not trading Patrick Mahomes right now for Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter, who both happen to be on a bye this week, when I'm desperate for a dub right now. So getting a little – I got a little bit of fantasy football frustration right now. I'm not going to lie. Partway through the season here. Starting to get on my nerves a little bit with some of these trade offers. And I'm throwing out trade offers all the time. Nobody wants to accept anything. Then I see Lamar Jackson gets traded. Like, what are we doing here? Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's bring in Huss today. Sorry, Huss. I'm sitting here at Boston Pizza, Capilano. I've got a blue moon with me, and I'm just ranting here today.
I love it. You know, AM radio guys, 11 a.m. is happy hour.
Well, I mean, it's basically after lunch for us, right? Like, it's just how it works.
Yep.
It's
full green light.
I've been up for 8 hours already, 7 hours already. I can have a beer.
Full green light. It's funny hearing you talk about that fantasy. Just before I jumped on, I was reviewing my team in the Winnipeg Media League, 2 QB league, or like Superflex.
Okay.
And I started off the year with 4 quarterbacks. And I am starting this week Carson Wentz and Andy Dalton.
Oh, no. Yeah. What happened? Which 4 quarterbacks? So you must have had, let me try to guess here. You probably had Russell Wilson as like your 4th or something like that. Like deep down there. Did you have him as a deep guy?
No, Russell Wilson wasn't one of them.
Okay.
I had
Joe Burrow.
Jaden Daniels is my main guy.
Okay.
He's out. I had Bryce Young.
Oh, yeah, he's hurt.
JJ McCarthy.
Oh.
And the other one was, it's escaping me right now, but he's out. And
Brock Purdy?
Yes, Purdy. So
it's tough.
It's a bit of a disaster right now. I desperately need a win too. So we will see. It's kind of neat like this. We're getting into that time when you've got a pretty good idea whether your team has the chops to be a playoff team, whether you're a contender. And like, it's so different based on league to league, whether you're in a keeper league or a dynasty league or just a straight up 1-year league, as to, what you can do. Like that big boy league you were talking about, is that just a redraft every year?
It's a redraft every year. I am 2-5 right now. Like, I'm desperate for a win. I like, my team isn't great, but I'm also the guy who's given up there. I've gone against the most points so far in the year,
bad luck.
which total that, I mean, that sucks. But I've got Mahomes. I've got Jaden Daniels. I went with those guys because it's super flex league. I used my first 2 picks on them. Well, Marion Hampton got hurt. That hasn't been good. J.K. Dobbins was good to start. He hasn't been great lately. Brian Thomas Jr. has been a bit of a bust. He had 1 really good week. Outside of that, hasn't been much there. This week I had like the 4th most points in the league, but played one of the top 3. So I lost. That one stung a little bit. I don't necessarily hate my team, but then this week, maybe this is why I'm so frustrated about the Lamar Jackson trade. But this week I'm going up against the guy who got Lamar Jackson and George Kittle in that trade for 3 guys that you wouldn't even start. Yeah. So I'm in tough this week as well, buddy. I'm not gonna lie.
The guy that made that trade must have been absolutely desperate for body.
I mean, in his defense, I will say this: like, he was desperate, but that's still a god awful trade. And I sent him an offer for Lamar Jackson that I think was better than the one that he ended up accepting. So that pisses me off too. But whatever, got to try to find another way. Last year in this big boy league, I grinded in. Got in on the tiebreaker of all non-playoff teams. I had the most points, so I got the 7th playoff spot. And then I went on a run, and I ended up finishing 2nd. So I'm not dead yet, but I'm pretty much almost into must-win territory here.
I have to admit, I like that format.
It is good. It is
good. If you're going to add a 7th team, you do it based on points.
Yeah.
That's actually a great.
So you could have 3 wins, but if you have the most points, like if you've had, like I'm right now, I'm a 2-5, which doesn't sound good, but there's 5 teams in front of me at 3 and 4. So it's not like this has run away yet. So if you could finish with 4 wins, but if you've got the most points of all the other non-playoff teams, you still get to go to the dance, which I think that's a fun way to do it.
Yeah, I mean it's a fair way to do it as well. It takes out some of that variance that if you've got this great team and you lose. I had a great just while we're talking fantasy. So Monday night obviously was a gong show. Jays game. Jays are going to the World Series. Jets are playing after that. And I was really locked in going for 5-0 and with a bunch of fantasy guys in the Detroit game up until the Blue Jays got going. I never really locked into the Houston-Seattle game. And I had written off 3 of my games in fantasy on the weekend. And then I checked the scores. And I won in 3 different leagues by anywhere between 0.5 point and 2 points.
No way.
3 games that I had already written off losses, thanks to JSN. What a season this guy is having.
He's a league winner. He's a league winner, man. Like, phenomenal. Now, the other thing he says, it's not like you draft him in the 7th round, and he's a league winner. I mean, he was going late. Well, I guess in redrafts, non-superflex leagues, he's pretty much a 2nd-round pick. But he's like winning. He's winning weeks over and over and over again for people right now.
Oh, he is. He absolutely is. So that was amazing. And, because he's been so good and because Rashee Rice came back, this is circling back to that Lamar thing.
Yeah.
I actually did what would have been previously unthinkable, and I traded Justin Jefferson.
Really?
Now, again, this is a league where if you pick a guy, you can keep him the next year a round ahead. And like 3 years ago, picked him in the 4th round. So kept him as a 3rd rounder.
Got some good value out of him.
Kept him as a 2nd rounder. This year, kept him as the 1st rounder. So essentially, I basically picked him at 6th overall, but I can't keep him again. Like, he will go back into the draft. So knowing that he had no more keeper value, and the fact that I had Rice and I had JSN, I traded him in a package to get Derrick Henry. And I bring this up right now because you mentioned Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
From a fantasy standpoint, I think the Ravens guys are going to be monsters for the next couple of months.
Well, they can't be worse. That's for sure.
Listen, well, I mean, Henry still had some really big games. I mean, it's not like the guy he's done nothing. Like his last game was really good. And that was, without Lamar. But Lamar is going to be coming back, and the Ravens are going to need to floor it. I mean, the Cincinnati win over Pittsburgh, I think opens up a path for them to get back in it a little bit more. And you look at what they have coming up. I mean, they're 1-5 right now, but they're home to the Bears. They've got the Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals over the course of this next 2 months. So I am expecting the Ravens to look a lot more like the Ravens we expected at the beginning of the year, getting some guys back. But from a fantasy perspective, like, I'm not sure their defense is good enough that they'll ever be cruising. So Lamar, Derrick Henry, I mean, to a lesser extent, Andrews and some of the guys that are catching. I think that while they were incredibly disappointing early on, I would be buying low on some of those guys if you have the opportunity to do that right now. And I
had to look up the Derrick Henry game log. So this is Derrick Henry, so this is what Derrick Henry had so far this season. His weekly finishes at the running back position. Week 1, he was number 1, 29.2 points. Week 2, he was 62nd. Week 3, he was 25th. Week 4, he was 43rd. Week 5, he was 29th. So he went 4 straight weeks outside the top 24 at running back. And then last week, 2 weeks ago, week 6, finished 13th, had 14 fantasy points. So that was like his best game since week 1. So, I mean, this guy was like a walking 15 to 18 points last year. So good guy to get in us. Like he can't, there's no way Derrick Henry finishes outside the top 24 at running back for another 4-week stretch this season. There's just no way.
No, well,
doesn't
especially,
happen.
And I mean, listen, they were going up against, like he had that monster game against the Bills. They crushed the Browns in week 2, but it was a lot of Lamar. But I mean, then they went up. They went Lions, Chiefs, Texans, Rams, and Texans, Rams without Lamar. So, listen, Henry's not done yet. The Ravens aren't done yet, at least for being fantasy relevant. So as I say, I'm sort of buying in on that team, and we'll see whether I'm actually picking them in games or what. But it is going to be interesting to see what the Ravens can put together now, getting into this softer part of their schedule with their backs against the wall. You'd have to think it's going to take probably 10 wins to make the playoffs in the AFC. So the question for the Ravens is, can they go 9-2 in their final 11 games? And if they're going to get anywhere close to that, Henry, Lamar will have some big numbers. So I'm in on that. But yeah, no Jaden Daniels for Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I see that. The line's at 10. I was going to say we should dive into it. Let's take a quick look here at these NFL lines.
Let's do it. Did you say the line's at 10?
The line's at 10 right now is what I'm seeing. Chiefs minus 10.
Okay, I saw elsewhere it opened at 9.5 and is 12.5 now.
Whoa.
So if you like the Chiefs,
get on this 10 right now, because yeah, I'd still sitting here at 10 for Sunday night. Okay, here we go. Let's just take a quick look at these hustles. I'll run through them. You let me know if there's anything that jumps off the page for you. Obviously, we'll get into our official picks on Friday's Lock Shop. Vikings are facing the Chargers in Los Angeles. Chargers are 3.5-point favorites right now. Patriots -7 at home against the Cleveland Browns. Falcons -7 at home against the Miami Dolphins. Some bigger numbers here. Ravens -6.5 at home against the Chicago Bears. Bears have won 4 in a row. Texans -1.5 at home against the Niners. The Bengals the Bengals with Joe Flacco -6.5 at home against the Jets. The Panthers are 7-point dogs at home against the Buffalo Bills. The Eagles are 8-point favorites at home against the Giants. That's an interesting number. The Bucks are 4-point favorites on the road going to the Saints. Chris Godwin will not play this week, and Mike Evans is obviously out. The Dallas Cowboys are 3-point dogs rolling into Denver. The Colts by 14 at home against the Titans. The Steelers are 3.5-point home dogs against the Green Bay Packers. The Sunday nighter, the Chiefs are now, at least over at Play Alberta, 10-point favorites at home against the Commanders. And then the Monday nighter, Ravens and Dolphins. The Ravens are 8-point favorites there as well, Huss. So, I mean, there are a lot of big lines this week across the National Football League.
There are. Did you just say that? You said the Ravens and Dolphins is a Monday nighter?
I did say that.
I think that might be the Thursday night or the following week.
Oh, yeah, it's the date underneath. Yeah, I had my dates wrong. Chiefs Commanders, the Monday nighter on the 27th. Yeah, sorry, my bad. That's my fault.
And that one, Chiefs 13 now. So
how high does it get, Huss? How high does it get? The Marcus Mariota disrespect is something else, isn't it?
Well, the funny thing is that I don't think it would have ever gone to this much. But you know how many people got burned betting the Raiders last week? Knowing, like, this is the thing.
Man, why would anybody have bet the Raiders, though? Even we stayed away from that one. Like, that's...
Well, here's why. Because if you look at the Chiefs over the last 2 seasons, they've always been big favorites, and they've been terrible at covering spreads. This was a divisional game. People gave the Raiders, I think, a little bit more credit, and still, I don't think have really come around to realizing where this Chiefs team is now that Rashee Rice is back and they're relatively healthy. So there's a lot of people that got burned on that last week. I didn't hear a lot of people taking Chiefs in the points. Any picks that I heard were made were like, hey, we're going to take the 11.5 or 12.5 or whatever it is and see about a close game. And then they went out and humiliated the Raiders in a fashion that we haven't seen a team. It was a full emasculation of the Raiders. 30 first downs for Kansas City, 30 plays for the Raiders. I don't know whether that's ever happened before in NFL history. So Chiefs obviously are in a really good spot right now. You add in just how devastated Washington is with injuries and bringing in Mariota, and it certainly does look like it's going to be a long night. I mean, the bottom line is the Chiefs' offense is running at such a level. The question is, okay, can Mariota put up 20? Because it's probably going to take 20 to cover a 11, 12, 13-point spread with what Mahomes and that offense is doing right now. So that was an interesting one. I mean, the fact you mentioned Joe Flacco, one game, and they're 6.5-point favorites, albeit against the Jets, who are just absolutely lost. And Atlanta coming off that loss and playing on a short week, a 7.5-point favorite at home against the lowly Dolphins. That one's a little surprising. It does seem like the bookies expect. We were just talking about the Ravens kind of looking more like the Ravens.
Yeah.
Certainly had the expectation with that number. And, a couple of other interesting ones. The Bills. What did you say the Bills was? Was that 7?
Yeah, it was 7.
Carolina, Andy Dalton getting the start. I don't think that hurts Carolina at all, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I know they're kind of working through Bryce Young. Andy's always good for a pop in. And then how about the Colts? The Colts now, like, what is it? 13.5, 14?
Yeah. 14. It's 14.
2 touchdowns.
I know.
Imagine if I told you that in week 8, Danny Dimes and the Colts would be first place and would be 14-point favorites.
Now we said you're
not
nuts.
Looking at those numbers, I try and do my survivor pick every week, just early on, just, kind of not getting too swayed. Like, you've got a pretty good idea about what the bigger spreads are going to be. So I'm locked in on Indy. Haven't used them yet for that week, but a couple of interesting quarterback matchups, with guys that are coming in. Do
you have any early thoughts on Aaron Rodgers at home with the Steelers against the Packers as 3.5-point home dogs?
I certainly think that we'll get a good version of Rodgers. He'll be jacked up for that game. The issue is that I don't know what has happened to the Pittsburgh defense. Like, think about what happened to them last week against the Bengals. Flacco.
Yeah, I mean, Flacco sliced and diced them. Like,
he didn't even know what the plays were. I mean,
he targeted Jamar Chase the third most times in NFL history, right? Like, he just kept, not a bad idea, don't get me wrong, but
no, but I'm just saying, like, for the Pittsburgh defense, knowing what was coming and just to have absolutely no answer for that was frankly embarrassing. And Joe Flacco, I mean, I'm still laughing. Did you see that bootleg play that they ran? Joe Flacco.
I watched most of that game, so yes, I must have seen it. Yeah.
A 13-yard run. It's a sight that you'll never forget.
Yeah.
Maybe you were tucking the kids in or something like that.
No. I remember now. I was sitting at Relish in Vancouver watching that play. It was by design, right? He swapped around, and then it was kind of like off tackle, but not like super wide, and found a path and took off. Yeah.
And he joked after the game, probably hasn't done that in 10 years. But anyways, the jury's out on Pittsburgh. Now, I would imagine with a Sunday night game, Rodgers going up against the Packers, they'll be much better. And listen, with the hook there, I will definitely consider taking Pittsburgh in this game, because I think people are really sort of sour on Pittsburgh because of that game against Cincinnati, but they're going to have the extra rest for this game. Green Bay, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was completely locked into that Green Bay Arizona game because there were a couple of other better games, Indy Chargers, Washington, Dallas on at that time. And hey, they got the job done, but I mean, that's against Arizona with Jacoby Brissett playing quarterback. So I'm still out. I rank Detroit far ahead of Green Bay in the NFC North right now. So Pittsburgh is going to be a team that, we absolutely have to consider.
The other line that I find somewhat interesting, considering they played just a few weeks ago, but the Eagles, 8-point favorites against the Giants team. We saw what the Giants did to the Eagles. This one's in Philly. Philly played better last week. Jalen Hurts got going through the air a significant amount. But what do you think about the 8? Considering the way that last game went. I mean, they doubled them up. Didn't the Giants double them up last game? I think it was ridiculous.
They did. And I think that's part of the reason why the Eagles are such a big favorite. I don't even know what to think about the Eagles after that game last week against Minnesota either. Like, they never really got close to the red zone. They weren't, and it was killing me because I was part of a touchdown prop where we had the first 2 and we needed Hurts. And there was never even,
I know.
It was never even close. But they had 3 long touchdown passes, and that had been something that had been completely missing from their game. I think Devonta Smith had like 35 fantasy points in that game. Probably on
monster game. He was I think he had the most receiving yards in a game by any receiver in the league this year. Like he had a big one, like a 75-yard touchdown at one point. He was
both AJ Brown TDs were long. So that's a positive for the Eagles offense, I think, because that really did seem like it was missing. But outside of those big plays, they didn't really do a good job of moving the football consistently. And if it wasn't for a Wentz brutal pick 6, and the Vikings not being able to get anything done in the red zone, I think Reichard kicked 6 field goals. The Vikings should have probably won that football game. So Philly's a confusing team right now. And then you got the Giants, who had that massive win against Philly. They're feeling good. They go into the fourth quarter in Denver up 19-0.
In control of that game.
No team in NFL history has ever had more than a 17-point lead. Scored at least 10 points, 17-point lead.
I think your mic cut out. I think that mic cable issue you were talking about yesterday, because you were like midway through that conversation. No, I still don't have it. Reconnect. Yeah, it was an all-time botch from the Giants last week. But they did so well against the Eagles a couple weeks ago. Yeah, the 8's interesting. The 8 is a number that I would consider probably getting on the Giants again. But Philly looked so good last week, but looked good in a different way. There we go. We got you back, Huss?
Yeah. But anyways, 17-point lead, scoring at least 10 points in the fourth quarter and losing. It had never happened before. And my God.
Empty Royal Pizza Box over on YouTube was Bronco Nick, 1,602-0 with an 8-point lead and 6 minutes left. Like, it had never happened. That was insane.
It's a joke. Well, Bronco Nick, I'm sure, is fired up. To be honest, everything sort of evens out. Like, I can't – the Broncos, and I'm sure he's still pissed off about week 2 against the Colts. They should have never lost that game.
Yeah.
But they did. So they get one that they probably didn't deserve. Although, hey, they scored 33 in the fourth quarter. Like, Bo Nix had like 8 fantasy points going into the fourth quarter and finished with like 41. But I think a lot of that was on the Giants. I think we were talking about this yesterday, the scenes of some of the Giants defensive players not even responding or acknowledging their defensive coordinator on the sidelines. And then they were putting in, just a rushing 3 and just opened it up for them. So I'm still not in enough on the Eagles, I think, to not really think long and hard about taking those points. But if you told me that they blew the Giants out by 20 and the Giants had a very poor reaction to what happened in the fourth quarter, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But I do think just with Dart and Scatterbo, these young guys, rookies, that is turning into the identity of the team. Like they'll be there, they'll be playing, and they'll come in cocky with some confidence because of what they did against Philly last week. So that'll be a good one. How about Tampa -4 at New Orleans? This is one of those ones that just seems too easy. But then you think about the division game on the road for Tampa. They're still really banged
No Godwin,
up.
no Evans. I mean, I know it's early in the week, but I'll probably just side with Baker in that one against the Saints. He'll find a way. I mean, I think that line might even move a little bit before then. So, the big boy league I was talking about, I had a trade offer come in during the show. Okay. So I'm going to run this by you. This is the type of stuff I'm dealing with in this league. Maybe you think it's worth it, but all right. So I have been offered Saquon Barkley. Hasn't been great yet this year, but who knows? Saquon Barkley, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Alex Pierce, and Xavier Worthy, who's probably going to take a bit of a dip because Rashee Rice is back, right?
Yeah.
He wants Brian Thomas Jr., J.K. Dobbins, Matthew Golden, and Omarion Hampton, who obviously is injured right now. What do you think? Like, I'm not overly interested in Pierce. I like Worthy, but I don't like him as much as I did 2 weeks ago. That's the thing. Like, I'm getting Saquon, but I'm giving up. Dobbins is one of my 2 starting running backs, so he would replace him. Brian Thomas Jr., I guess I would be replacing with Xavier Worthy. Hampton, by the time he comes back, I might be eliminated, but I think this is too much. I think this is too much. Like,
sorry, refresh my memory. Do you have keepers in this league?
No, this is straight up redraft league. So I get Saquon, but what's Saquon's? Saquon has not even been close to what he was last year.
I know, but do you think that's going to carry on for the rest of the season? This could be a buy low opportunity for Saquon. At the end of the day, the first thing I do is look, and granted, being all healthy, like it could maybe hit your bench, but I would have a feeling that your starting roster probably improves by putting in Saquon over J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
Where do you lose in your lineup?
I would lose, like Brian Thomas Jr. would be replaced with Xavier Worthy.
I think that's
I'm not starting Tyrone Tracy Jr. He's going to my bench, and Pierce is going to my bench. In fact, I'm starting Golden this week because Brian Thomas Jr. is on a bye. So I don't know. I mean, Saquon so far this year finished 8th, 10th, 34th, 17th, 10th, and then the last 2 weeks he's had, and his last 2 games, including the one against the Giants, which you thought might be like, Saquon revenge game, 6.7 points and 4.2 points in his last 2 games. And then he goes into a bye in week 9, so I wouldn't even have him in week 9.
Oh.
And that, to me, that's the real deal breaker. I mean, I can't get him for a week, and then when I still need to win in week 9, not have him. I can't do that.
Who would you have to play when he's not in? Like when he's on your bench for week 9, who would you have to play?
I would have to play like Bill Krosky Merritt and either Tyrone Tracy Jr., who I'd be picking up here, or like I've been hoarding these guys, hoping that somebody gets hurt because I've got like Xavier Scott in Minnesota, hoping that Mason would go down. I've got Tootin, hoping that ETN would get hurt. I've still got Ollie Gordon because I'm hoping that A-Chain would get hurt at some point. But so my running back situation is not good with Omarion Hampton hurt. But I mean, tell me this. I think part of this, a lot of this deal would come down, like, what is Xavier Worthy rest of season with Rice back?
I'd rather have him than Brian Thomas Jr.
Really?
Yeah,
man, I don't know if I could do that.
It's the Chiefs motto, EGE, everybody got to eat. Like, they gave it to Rashi. He had the 2 touchdowns right off the bat, and it was a bit quieter of a game. But Rice is going to be attracting so much attention. Worthy is going to get his. Like, the guy of all of the Chiefs receivers that I think I'm selling a little bit is Hollywood Brown right now. I think the targets for him are going
that's going to go down. Yeah.
Are going to be limited, but I still think that Worthy's going to get his, and obviously Rashee Rice is going to get his. That's a really interesting deal. I will say this: it's not a BS deal. I mean,
part of me wants to counter by taking out a Marion Hampton and taking out Pierce on his side, and just be like, I don't want Pierce, and I don't want to give up Hampton just in case I'm still in the mix when he comes back. So then it would be Saquon, Tyrone Tracy, and Xavier Worthy for J.K. Dobbins, Matthew Gold, and Brian Thomas Jr. I think that's close to a pretty fair trade.
If I'm him, I probably don't do that. Like, it's tough to trade Saquon. It would have been his first pick.
Yeah, he would have taken him at the end of the first round because we started with 6 straight quarterbacks. I don't know. I don't know.
Be interesting. Chat, what do you think?
Mavericks over there, he says, take it 100%. I don't know. I like Golden's starting to get involved a little bit more in Green Bay's offense. Now, I don't know if Green Bay will ever have a number one receiver that is going to become a top 12 to 15 fantasy guy. Like, whether it's Romeo Dobbs or whoever, I don't see that being the case.
No, I mean, at least right now, I was on a Golden over prop. I needed 50 yards last week. He saw a bunch of balls early on and then had one more for the rest of the game and only finished with 37. So I'm sort of with Maverick, though. Like, I mean, if you have a big thing because of week 9.
The only problem is Saquon's not there in week 9, and I have nothing at running back. When's O'Mara? Yeah, that's not going to work. I don't know. It would kill me in week 9. It would kill me. And here's the thing. Week 8, I'm going up against a really stacked team, so I don't like my chances anyway. So if anything, to me, it's going to come down like week 9, 10, 11, and 12 to make the playoffs. So I don't think I can weaken my team in week 9. I just don't think I can do this.
Interesting. Well, Majestic Eskimo says, no, do not trade that. Maverick 1979, always take the best player. That I usually go to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's undoubtedly I am getting the best player.
But you can't tank 2 weeks because your season essentially.
No, I got to have it. Like this week's already tough enough. I don't need a miracle kind of this week. But next week I'll have to have, and I can't do it without Saquon, so I don't think I can do this. All right, Huss, quickly. I mean, CFL at this time of year is tough. Here are the lines. The Hamilton game isn't even up right now. Here's what we've got on the other 3 games that I'm seeing right now. The Elks are 4.5-point home dogs against Calgary, obviously a game that Calgary will want to have. Edmonton officially eliminated. The Bombers are 5.5-point favorites at home here against Montreal. Part of me is thinking that is Hamilton is going to win. I'm not even sure you'll see Davis Alexander much in that game, maybe.
No.
And then the Lions are 6.5-point favorites going into Saskatchewan. If they can win that game, they will have a home playoff date. So that's a big game for the Lions. Did you just kind of stay away from this board, or what do you do with this thing this week?
Pretty much. Like I'm seeing 13.5 for Hamilton, which story checks out. I mean, Hamilton has everything to play for. Ottawa's in next year territory. Although Tyree Adams, is that his name for?
Tyree Adams,
3 touchdowns, 3 picks last week. I mean, there were things happening.
An eventful week for Tyree Adams,
for sure. And you know what? I think that there'll be like Jeff Hamilton and I did CFL 110 this morning, and we got into these games. Obviously, most of the talk was about the playoff picture and more about the following week. But I could absolutely see Ottawa being a little more live in this one to cover the big number than they were the last couple of weeks against Montreal. The minute that game is over, assuming that Hamilton wins, I think it sets up for a lot of nothing here in Winnipeg on Saturday afternoon. Certainly, I think Moss would be crazy to throw Alexander or any of his top players.
Can't do that.
And to be honest, I'll make the same argument for the Bombers. Like we were saying, can they get a good feeling out of this final week? If you're playing a bunch of the Montreal backups and you have your starters out there, I mean, it's just, I don't think that carries over to next week. And for the Bombers, I mean, they need to get their guys healthy. I mean, Nick Dembski and Bubble Wrap, I don't think he'll play, but I wouldn't play Caleros. I wouldn't have Brady Oliveira out there, and just focus on that next week, trying to have your best performance of the year. So, I mean, I think if the coaches could, well, not Mike O'Shea, he's not wired that way, but just 60 minutes of QB kneels and punts and then move on to the next week. The two interesting games to me are Calgary, Edmonton, and BC Sask. I saw 5.5 for Calgary, and obviously they need to win to force BC to win if BC wants to host that playoff game that final week. I really think that Edmonton's going to be I don't think this team is just going to show up and check out.
No, man, Mark Killam will want to stick it to his former team.
100%.
And they'll be playing this game for Killam against Calgary.
They want to finish with a win, a statement that this team has made huge strides this year. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about, the start of the year. It was funny. Hamilton was listening to and brought this up that Mark Killam was asked about Trey Ford for next year, and he said he definitely will be a quarterback in the CFL.
Yeah.
Or something to that extent. So I think we kind of see where that's going right now. And listen, that is a tough pill to swallow considering the way the season started with them sort of sticking with him, despite Cody probably being the better guy at camp. How different might this season be if you had him there for those games at the start of the year? But I do like Edmonton to sort of hang with Calgary and make them earn it. But if Calgary wins that game, does BC play Nathan Rourke? I mean, as I said, so much of this is determined on other games. And while in the NFL and a lot of other leagues, they've got enough action that they play the games at the same time, because of television and everything spread out, it all has kind of a cascading effect, certainly from those two games. So I don't know. I think right off the top of my head, I was looking at Ottawa and Edmonton, and I think Saskatchewan as well, because I don't really think we'll probably see BC really going all out to try to win that game, assuming Calgary is able to get it done against Edmonton, although I could see them potentially losing. And the Winnipeg-Montreal game to me is just a complete write-off. So hard to go too hard.
Yeah, I think what you do here is you wait and bet these right before the game. See what the circumstances are, evaluate those lines, and then go from there, right? There could be some value on it right before the game. So, that could be something you would look at. Hey, Huston, I don't know if I told you earlier in the week, but I did win my CFL Fantasy League for the second time in 3 years. Yeah, pretty big deal. It was good. Came down. We did a 2-week final. So we had the last 2 weeks were finals. The first week, I had all my BC Lions on a bye, so I didn't have McInnes. I didn't have Butler. I was down by 8 points going into the final week. I ended up beating him by 30 points in the final week, so I won by about 22, 23, 24 points. I was starting Philpott in Calgary. He was starting Philpott in Montreal, and Tyson in Montreal put up a goose egg, and Jalen Philpott had a great game for Calgary. So I basically won because one Philpott brother was significantly better than the other. That's what it came down to, which was nice. I'll take it. We've done the league 3 years. I got 2 titles. I'm pretty excited about it.
Hey, you know what? What we probably should quickly do. What's the latest on what's your futures for the 6 teams that are going to the playoffs for this?
I'm looking at Saskatchewan plus 290, Alouettes 3-1, Ticats plus 340, Stamps 5-1, Lions 5-1, Bombers 10-1.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing. So, I mean, to me, it's funny that Montreal is a shorter number than Hamilton, even though that they will probably have the much easier route and the home game. But I can't really say I disagree with it. I do think Montreal is the best team in the East. And as I say, the Bombers have given nobody any reason to really.
Yeah, I think these are pretty good. I think these are pretty good numbers right now. These are pretty reasonable numbers.
This is also a great day to check out NFL futures. How quickly things change, Dusty.
Oh my God. I don't. Go ahead. Go ahead.
3-4 weeks ago where I had to sit here and go, folks, it's not over.
Look at those top 2
heads
teams,
and the hot takes were telling us that the Chiefs were done. Are you seeing
I'm seeing a 5-1 on the Chiefs
favorite right now. 5-1.
I'm seeing the Chiefs at a 5-1. I'm seeing my Lions at plus 655 as the second best odds.
And you know what? They should be there. I think those are the two best teams right now. I think they should both be the favorites in their respective. I think the Lock Shop Bowl is absolutely live right now, dude, for a meeting in February. But it is funny how quickly that has changed. And I believe
that's like a swing in 2 weeks, buddy.
I believe it was on this show not even 3 weeks ago that I said on a couple of occasions, I'm not saying you should, but if you do like the Chiefs, you're never going to be seeing a 10-1 number up for this team. It hasn't been that high in probably 4 years. And there they were at 10-1 to win. Mahomes was plus 650 for the MVP. Now I'm seeing him at plus 125 and the Chiefs at 5-1 right now. So a nice spot for anybody that got in at that point. I'll tell you what, I might jump in right now on some Lions props in the NFC though. Like
respect
to me. Hey, I think that this team is a real problem. And, listen, they handled Tampa and it wasn't as much. I mean, just the way they slammed Baker in the first half. I mean, Tampa, who had been finding a way against literally everyone in some very tough competition. I mean, just absolutely shut down. And I mean, that was a good read by us on Detroit, for to complete that 5-0 week. NFC West, Rams, a slight favorite over the Niners to win that division. That's sort of interesting. I mean, most of the divisions have a big favorite. Indy in the South, Tampa in the NFC South, Philly in the NFC East, the Bills in the AFC East. What are your numbers for AFC North?
I was just looking at that. It's funny you brought it up. My eyes are on it right now. Pittsburgh Steelers plus 130, Ravens plus 145, Bengals plus 450, Browns plus 2650.
Yeah, well, we can erase the Browns right now. But that Cincinnati win over Pittsburgh all of a sudden made things interesting again. And it is crazy. We were talking about the Ravens at the start of the show. They are just slightly below the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though they're sitting at 1-5 right now. So I'll be fascinated to see if the Ravens can do what it takes to get back in. And obviously, Pittsburgh's got a tough game. There's an underdog at home against Green Bay this week. That could really shake things up. But it's a great day. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, always a good time to jump on your local futures section. But there's been a big shakeup so far.
Us quickly, let's just pop over to the National Hockey League here before you got to take off for WST. It's a light slate tonight, which is why we didn't dedicate too much time to it. I do have the starting goalies for these 3 games tonight. Gustafsson for Minnesota. Nico Daws will go for the Devils. Colton Ellis will start for the Buffalo Sabres. The Red Wings will go with John Gibson. Dustin Wolf for the Flames. And I haven't seen anybody confirmed for the Habs yet, but they play here. Actually, Dobish is going to start for the Habs. And Montembeault will go here tomorrow night against Edmonton. As for the lines right now in the National Hockey League for tonight, we've got the Devils in that game against Minnesota are minus 137 home favorites. It's a pick'em, essentially, between Detroit and Buffalo. And then Calgary's a plus 106 dog at home against the relatively impressive Montreal Canadiens so far. What do you like here, Huss?
I like Minnesota as a road dog in New Jersey. Jersey just played last night in Toronto. They would have flown after the game. I think this is a nice spot for Minnesota, getting the Jersey back up on the second end of a back-to-back. Buffalo. So Buffalo and Montreal played on Monday on that prime game. Montreal won 4-2. I was actually kind of impressed with Buffalo and the way they'd rebounded from that first 3-game losing streak. They beat Florida on the weekend. They've had a couple nice wins. I have no idea. Carter Ellis, you said
Carter Ellis is supposed to go today. I mean, I think I like Detroit in this one. Detroit's played pretty well.
Detroit has played. Brad played really well. I mean, they're 5-1 right now. And you know what? I think it's time for the Flames to win a game. They actually played really hard against Winnipeg on Monday
Colton
night.
Ellis. Sorry, correct it. Colton Ellis. According to Hockey DB, he's never started a National Hockey League game.
Oh, so he's a bit of a wild card. Young
Good
guy going
AHL
in,
numbers.
standing on his head, getting his chance for a first start. I like Minnesota, and I think I'm going to take Calgary. They're going to win a game sooner or later. Is Montreal and Edmonton the next night?
Yeah, Montreal gets Edmonton tomorrow night, so maybe a bit of a look-ahead spot here for the Habs against the Calgary team. I mean, Montreal is definitely a better team than Calgary, but I understand what you're saying. Like, is Calgary just going to keep losing over and over?
They're going to win one of these
again?
games. They're feeling it right now. You could say they maybe deserved a better fate. Hellebuck was really good on Monday night. Jets scored 2 in the third period to turn a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 victory. But I think my favorite pick is going to be Minnesota tonight, even though they're the longest underdog on the board. That seems to be a really nice spot for Minnesota, and that's a good team.
It's coming up on WST, buddy.
Well, we are going to be talking some Blue Jays. We'll be talking lots of Jets. John Shannon's going to join us to talk about the latest from around the National Hockey League. And we'll get into a little fantasy football with our pal Thomas Tipple at the end of the program as well. And by the way, Lock Shoppers, we got our WST poker night tonight. If you want to join us, 7 o'clock Edmonton start. Hit our socials for details, and would love to see you.
Hey, don't let Jeff Hamilton win again, eh?
Dude, we added the bounty on Hammer's head.
Good.
Because he's just what you think I can handle him rolling into WST with another victory lap on Friday?
That'd
no
be
way.
The worst. That'd be the
no
worst.
way. But
CFL 110 drop today too, right?
7 o'clock your time if you guys want to jump in.
CFL 110 out again.
CFL 110 we did already. It's up on YouTube right now and on the podcast feed. So jump in on that all over, particularly the Western playoff spot. Did talk a lot about the Elk season. You know, how we can look at it considering they're out of the playoffs, but how far they've come. So that's up for you as well. And look forward to doing it tomorrow. Interesting Thursday nighter we'll have to get to tomorrow, Dusty. Chargers, Vikings tomorrow too.
That is a good football game. I look forward to setting that one up. All right, Huss, you have a good show, man. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. That is Huss from Winnipeg Sports Talk. I threw that one through the little NHL. It's just 3 games in the NHL tonight. I like the Habs. I grew up as a Habs fan. I can see what Huss is saying about the Flames getting the job done tonight. I was already sort of like a little weary on that, even though they've definitely been better than the Calgary Flames. The Flames, they're just going to never win again. I think this is a spot where the Flames could possibly get it done. So I agreed with him on that. The Wings on the money line. Now, maybe this kid making his first start stands on his head. It would be a great story. But Detroit has been pretty decent so far to start the year. And he makes a good a good case rather for the New Jersey Devils on the back-to-back. So we threw that over there. Wild money line, Wings money line, Flames money line. Daniel over at the Play Alberta team says they are on it. And then the grandest was just sent over as well. Let me bring this up. Big Uke just texted me this. Well, I texted about 15 minutes ago. I'll get it up right away, though, guys. They're on the Habs money line. I love it. I love that you're doing that. But it's probably like the mini fan in me. You know, I know how all you Oilers fans are. Like, oh, no, they're not going to win tonight because of this. That's kind of like, I'm probably overthinking it, but Huss made a good case for Flames. Anyway, Jesper Bratt assist, Habs money line, Mo Sider over 2.5 blocks. And then the Wanderers and York in the CPL, both teams to score. Classic D-Gen Den stuff right here with the grandest. So I'm going to send that over. We'll have that up on the EST specials page as well. Use our promo code if you wouldn't mind. You'll get yourself a $50 free bet. EST50 or EST Sports. Both of those promo codes work. EST50 or EST Sports. And deposit $50. You will get a $50 free bet. On the way next, we will get to the oil stream. Edmonton picking up the win last night in overtime. Myself and Tommy Gazzola will break that down for you. We're live at Capilano Boston Pizza. If you want to swing by for lunch today, $15 lunch ready in 20 minutes or less. Can't beat that deal. So, swing on by today if you're working in the area or you want to pop by for a visit. Come on by here today. Capilano Boston Pizza oil stream presented by Boston Pizza is coming up next. Thank you very much for joining us on the Lock Shop. Best of luck on everything that you're riding tonight, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.